Hi, welcome to Trikai Psychology. Today I'm going to be reacting and discussing something that has been blowing up on the internet, not for very good reasons. Now, if you don't know who Akaash Singh is, he is a very funny comedian. I've enjoyed watching some of his clips in the past. He's very funny. Well, his wife has been growing her internet presence, and some of this has not been for very good reasons. Now, people are reacting because she's been making statements and comments that seem to be disrespecting her husband in public, and she's making very outlandish statements that people are having some, opinions on. Now, I'm going to be talking about this situation from a more relationship dynamic, giving a more kind of psychological perspective. There is one video that I saw that I particularly wanted to comment on. However, I need to talk about some other clips in order to give some perspective, right? To give it context. So I just want to preface this by saying that I don't know these two individuals. I actually wish them all the best, like I do anyone, really. However, I am a truth speaker. I do like to give my opinion on what the truth is and what I think healthy and not healthy is, what I think right and wrong is, because it adds, this voice to, the world, the internet, where there is a lot of misinformation, a lot of unhealthy things being portrayed, and a lot of young people being misguided. And some of this situation is, I think, giving a very negative example to young people. So I also want to say, to preface this, that these are my opinions, these are my perspectives, these are my interpretations, and I could be completely wrong. We don't know these two individuals, and so I just wanted to say that. But these are my opinions, coming from a psychological angle. Okay, so let's get into some of these clips.
The cameraman obviously instructed them to kiss. Maybe she really does love him, but at the same time just finds him gross. She can't help who she's repulsed by, just like she can't help who she's attracted to, like her friend's husband, who she finds very, very sexy.
His body goes crazy. His face card always slays, never declines. I just know that Nav's dick is like at least 10 inches.
You would only be down for an orgy for
it's thick. It's thick.
There's a difference being a scammer and being a hustler. Two very different things.
Okay.
I'm a hustler who scams a little bit. I'm not a scammer who hustles.
I'm not gonna lie, that was sexy, and that's why I'm actively trying to have an orgy.
Wait.
Sometimes it looks like she's being hyperbolic or just...
Right. And some of these clips, like I said, people have got a lot to say about. Now, we don't know if Akaash and Jasleen have made some sort of personal contract, some sort of personal private agreement that, I'm going to say really outlandish things, but I don't mean it. I don't mean disrespect to you. I love you. This is all just for entertainment. Now, if that is the case, then maybe this is all okay. Maybe this is all okay. However, I have some things to say about this, which is, one, it's not setting a good example of what a healthy relationship should be if this is what they want to put on the internet as a joke. The second thing is, it's very difficult for me to sort of see that Akaash would agree to this, given that he has built his reputation for a number of years and they were even broke and he had no money at one point. Why would you risk that? So that's very difficult for me to believe, which then leads people to think that this is how she is, and she is using him, and she is categorically disrespecting him. And I think this is what's happening. At the beginning, I thought this was totally rage bait. Them two are in it together. They just want the clicks and the views and they want the fame. And maybe there is an element of that. But I think this has gone to a point too far, right? And maybe neither of them realize actually how damaging this could be, not only in their personal life, right? Because saying these things about other men in front of your husband has got to hurt, right? Inside, at somewhere deep, especially where she puts him down in public. She won't give him physical affection in public. So diminishing your partner and boosting somebody else's partner up in public in front of your partner is a disrespect. So again, we don't know if this is just total entertainment and jokes and clickbait. However, if it is, it's not a good example for society and young women or men. And second of all, I think this is doing damage, right? So let's go on.
Messing around. She's on a podcast trying to create content, so let's not take those clips too seriously. And I'm not sure that stuff would bother Akaash anyways, but then there are things she said that make her look like an arsehole.
Okay, May the 4th is Akash's birthday. And
May the 4th be with you.
Yes.
Yeah, and every year I dread it because I have to be nice the whole day, and I have to get him something, and I have to also be nice and do like acts
said
of
that twice.
kindness.
She said,
Listen, I'm just used to being treated like a princess all day, every day. So that one day that I don't,
oh, what torture.
yeah, it's
And
hard.
treat
What?
somebody. My husband, he said, I just ordered your Christmas gift. I was like, oh, what did you get me? He's like, I'm not gonna tell you. So I'm like, okay, trying to guess. And then he's like, what did you get for me? Excuse me?
The audacity.
The entitlement, the audacity.
It's giving.
I pick up sometimes in her clips these micro expressions. Now, when I studied psychology, I trained as a hypnotherapist, so I do hypnotherapy. And one of the things that I learned in hypnotherapy and NLP is micro expressions. I see her, she pauses a little bit as he's talking, almost as a passive aggressive annoyance. Maybe you've experienced that in a workplace, or you accidentally talk over someone and they pause and give you this sort of attitude, right? Coldness. That coldness is a communication, which is shut up, I'm talking, or I'm just going to wait for you to talk and not acknowledge what you're saying so that I can speak over you or assert my point. And this is something that I see her do, especially in this clip. I will replay that.
Trying to guess. And then he's like, what did you get for me? Excuse me?
The audacity.
There.
The entitlement, the audacity.
And if this is what she's doing on camera, then I can't imagine what she's doing privately with him. And actually, he reveals some of the stuff that has happened, and it sounds like a joke, and they all laugh about it, but actually, it's not appropriate behavior. It's not behavior that is respectful, for sure.
It's giving spoiled brat, and maybe Akaash likes that. He clearly enjoys spoiling her, and maybe that's what attracted him in the first place.
I think the misconception about me is that maybe I'm a gold digger or that I came from privilege, which are both partly true.
Marriage at the end of the day is practical.
Practical.
It is a practical thing.
I'm so happy not doing anything. And I hope for the rest of the girlies that follow me that one day you can sit and do nothing too and just snag your man until he makes more money so you can do that. I found that it is a tactic that has personally worked for me.
And if that dynamic works for their relationship, then that's great. But
Or is it great? Is it great? Right? And again, we don't know if she's just saying this for views and clicks. However, she does live this life. This is actually what has happened, right? She has decided not to work, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. However, she's very demanding with needing material goods, right? Designer clothes, designer bags. And this is sort of what her content revolves around as well, and what her narrative revolves around, right? Which is Akaash's money is her money, but her money is her money. And there's this one-way street that she talks about. Again, we don't know if this is just for entertainment. However, she is living this life. And to say to your viewers, this is a tactic that has worked for me so that you can sit at home and do nothing, because I'm happy doing that. And this is something that you can do. The word tactic indicates that it's a purposeful maneuver. It's a manipulation that you've done. That's not a sign of a healthy individual and a healthy relationship. We don't get married, or, if you want a healthy and good relationship, you shouldn't get married to manipulate the person to gain what you want. That is abusive, actually, right? So saying to young women that this is a tactic so that you can just stay at home and have your man make money is quite degrading, right? It's degrading to men. It's degrading to yourself. It's degrading to women in general. It's I mean, if you're happy being at home and benefiting off your partner's money, that's okay. But if you're using somebody to get that, that is concerning. That's manipulation and an abuse of somebody's resources.
The more she shares about herself and how she treats Akash, it makes her look really bad. And he clearly wants to put her on a pedestal. You know, he worships her. He likely doesn't give a shit that we're all joking about him being a simp, but I don't think he's laughing when the comments underneath all of her videos are basically calling her a douchebag. Jasleen has seemed to have given new life.
Okay.
Oh, sometimes it like literally hurts my heart. Is it just me, or is the idea of asking a girl to sign a prenup incredibly offensive? And only one way. Like if I asked someone to sign a prenup because I had some like booming business, then I would be like, yeah, can you just sign this prenup because like I don't want to like lose all my money. But then like if a guy asked me to sign a prenup, I would be like, I would call off the wedding. Like I would literally call off the wedding.
You would have called off the wedding if I asked you to sign a prenup?
Yeah, like I'm not even joking.
And okay, there's a one-way street going on, which she so boldly asserts to him. And this is not the only clip that I've seen. I'm not going to go through all of them. There's many clips where she's asserting this one-way street. You know, and it's whatever. Again, the boundaries within a relationship need to be determined with the two people involved. If they are happy with that, then fine. But what the fundamentals of a healthy relationship are good communication, openness, honesty, respect. And if you don't have those, but you have these superficial agreements, but you don't have the fundamentals of what is a healthy relationship, A, it won't last, and B, it will be troublesome. It will be troublesome. The other thing here is the tone that she makes, this seriousness that she ends with, that hey, I'm not actually joking. And that little clip there is said in jest, and maybe it's for entertainment, and they're both laughing and it's kind of funny, ha ha ha. Isn't it cute that she's sort of asserting this one-way street, you know, when he holds the power anyway with the money. But this is actually you know, this is actually an assertion of dominance. Again, I'm talking about the micro expressions. I'm going to just go back where you see her say it seriously. I'm not even joking.
Like I would call off the wedding. Like I would literally call off the wedding.
You would have called off the wedding if I asked you to sign a prenup?
Yeah, like I'm not even joking.
And that is a threat, right? That is a threat. I'm not even joking. And so what I see Jasleen doing many times is asserting her dominance, right? Her audacity, the audaciousness to say right there in public, right in front of Akaash, that she wants to have sex with another man right in front of them, is audacious. And it's an assertion of power and it's an assertion of dominance, which is basically, oh, what are you going to do about it? I can say and do whatever I want, and you're not going to do anything about it. I'm going to get into boundaries in a moment, but let's just go to another clip here.
Videos that I saw that I'm like, I don't care if you're a comic, I don't think you think it's funny. Like, this is stuff that even if your husband would do on a podcast and talking about his wife, no one would think it's okay. Yeah. And in fact, I know this because I don't ever see any comedian who's prominent ever talk like this about their spouse.
Okay, so I think the first thing we shat on you about was having icks about all the things that you guys do. So let's get into it. What are your icks about us? But answer properly or you're not getting laid.
That's just a lie, though. That's just a lie, though.
Here's what I'll say. I don't have icks about my wife in the sense that, like, everything she does is really cute to me. Do I have things that are a massive pain in my ass? Yes, absolutely. That I have. I love her. She's so adorable. When she's running 2 hours late to a dinner reservation that I work really hard to get, and then I'm like, baby, we're running late. And she's like, are you fucking kidding me? Do you know? I don't give a fuck if we're late to this dinner. They're lucky to have a, and I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing.
Don't look at me like that. Okay.
Oh, the
Now
shock
you see
on
what I'm
their
talking
faces.
about? Like, don't look.
The shock on their faces. And they should be shocked. And it's good that they're shocked because it shows that they probably would not accept this in a relationship, that Akaash is accepting it in a relationship and he's laughing it off as a joke. However, it's a total transgression of the boundary of respect. Like I was saying, there are some boundaries that just need to be in place for a healthy relationship. Respect is one of them. When those boundaries are crossed, it damages the relationship. It slowly eats away at the health and the life of the relationship. It's not okay to talk to your partner this way, to shout, to yell, to snap back, to be rude, especially when he's doing something nice. And like I was saying about dominance, I see that as a behavior of dominance, that I can say what I want and you're not going to do anything about it. Right? And if you do, there's probably going to be an even worse consequence. And Akaash has admitted himself that he's a nice guy, right? He's a people pleaser. So he's definitely, lived his life pleasing Jasleen, giving to her, and she has taken. But these micro expressions, these passive aggressive behaviors and responses, and the overt expressions really are just a portrayal of dominance, assertion of her own boundaries. And Akaash has very collapsed boundaries, in my opinion, because again, he considers her needs his responsibility. And he talks about this in the next clip. He talks about this in the next clip where he says that he's responsible, right, for making sure that she feels safe. And like I said before, her dominance is encroaching upon Akaash's personal space and personal need for respect. And yeah, this is common in, now I'm not saying that she's abusive, right? It is a strong word, but I definitely think that she is manipulating, right, and domineering, right, into and crossing over his lines of respect here. And this, of course, is if this is actually her personality. Could all just be for entertainment here and clicks and views. So I'm going to go on now to this clip here about Akaash talking about his therapy.
A lot of work, a lot of therapy. We love each other so much. We're like deeply in love. And it's like we laugh all the time. But both of us grew up in I'm talking about this in the next special. It was like turbulent households for both of us. We don't need to get too personal. But
many Asians.
Yeah,
households.
it's turbulent. So we didn't have any
like
tools.
this.
Our fights would get crazy. Like I am very calm with her until I'm not. And then it's hard for me to cap the end.
0 to 100 in a second.
0 to 100.
0 to 0 for 10 days and then...
She never felt unsafe like I would hit her.
Sure.
But I hit myself a couple of times like a fucking maniac. And that's not going to make you feel safe either.
No.
So it was a lot of therapy. As soon as we got together,
that is a form of self-harm. And when people don't have the ability to communicate healthily, effectively, and there's a lot of reactivity going on in a relationship, it can turn to violence, right? Because how else can somebody vocalize and communicate what they want and what they need? And people get frustrated not being able to do that or being heard. And that's why people can sometimes turn to violence. And Akaash takes it out on himself as opposed to other people. This is a symbol of also his people-pleasing tendencies. He would rather hurt himself than somebody else. Again, signs of unhealthy dynamics, which he's very vulnerably talking about, which is really good to see.
Thinking about therapy for a while, and I realized I love this girl, and I don't even think I knew how much until therapy. But I was like, yeah, I love this girl. This girl I want to make it work with. I can't let this get in the way. So I started therapy 2016, I think, and then it didn't even really take hold. I feel like until 2019, and then 2021, I felt in 2024, 2025. I'm feeling more and more like. It's just one of my therapists, a couples therapist we had said, all therapy is trying to get your emotions into words. A lot of times you get angry, but you're not actually angry. You're feeling, I'm insecure about this thing. And then you said that thing and it hurt my feelings. And it's coming out as anger. But if I could just say, hey, you know what? I'm insecure about this thing. And you said that and it kind of hurt my feelings. It's a whole different fight. And that's
very true. If you can get to the underlying reason why you're upset rather than reacting out of the emotion, it can resolve a lot of the conflict. And this is fantastic advice.
So much of what we're trying to work on. And my girl still pops off. For me, it's trying to stay patient through that and hearing her and then getting, because again, she grew up not feeling like anybody's looking out.
See, and this is what I wanted to comment on. Akaash has given a really great example of something that he's done, taken the advice of the therapist. However, he's saying that his wife, and this is again 10 years down the line after having therapy, he's saying that it's his responsibility to be patient while she pops off. This is where I think there's a problem here, because allowing and not asserting the boundary is enabling the behavior of the other person. What Akaash isn't saying that he's doing is holding Jasleen responsible for her reactivity, her anger, her outbursts. And when you don't do that, right, the same behavior is going to perpetuate. And the other thing is Akaash is feeling responsible for keeping her feeling safe. And yes, partners can aid that, but when somebody is reacting, being aggressive, being violent, they are still responsible for their own behavior, and they need to be held accountable for their own behavior. So Akaash should be responding something to the effect of, hey, I know you're feeling upset or you're feeling angry, but it's not okay to yell at me or shout at me or behave in this way. Please take your emotions. I'm here to support you. Take your emotions and tell me what you're really trying to say here. Tell me what you're really trying to say. What are you really insecure about? And we can have that conversation. But what he's saying is that he is feeling responsible to being patient. And he doesn't finish the sentence because he can't. Because what that sentence finishes as is that Jasleen continues this behavior and he enables it, right? He's not asserting his boundary.
She's not feeling protected. So she has to fight for herself. So it's my job to try to listen to that.
Because she's not felt protected and, maybe had a very, damaging experience in childhood, that is not Akaash's responsibility to heal and resolve. Akaash's responsibility is to be understanding and supportive and kind, but it's also to hold a boundary and hold Jasleen responsible for her behavior. Many people have had troubled childhoods, but that's not an excuse to become abusive yourself. It's not an excuse. It doesn't excuse it. As adults, we are still responsible. We have free will, and we're able to make better choices. And if your partner isn't holding you responsible for that, then they are enabling negative behavior, and it's not okay. It's not okay.
Take that in. And then
no, it's not.
I also said to her, I got a real thing with that's what so much of what we're trying to work on. And my girl still pops off. For me, it's trying to stay patient through that and hearing her and then getting, because again, she grew up not feeling like anybody's looking out for her. She's not feeling protected. So she has to fight for herself. So it's my job to try to listen to that, take that in. And then
no, it's not.
I also said to her,
and then, you see how he doesn't know the end of that. And because the end of that is this situation he's got in his life right now, which is that she continues to disrespect him. She continues to pop off. And it's a joke. It's a big joke. However, it's a very, very bad example for other young individuals. It's really sad to see, because it seems like he's implemented some strategies from therapy. However, she hasn't. And what he's done instead is, instead of holding her accountable for that, for her part, he's adjusted himself and started to just become patient. And rather than saying, hey, you need to do what I'm doing here if we're going to be partners in this.
Had a real thing with scorekeeping.
Okay, before he gets into the scorekeeping, tell me y'all picked up on this. As a result of this man becoming so upset with his wife, well, I guess at that time it'd be his girlfriend's behavior, he admits to hitting himself. He didn't go into detail, but he admitted it. Now, because of that, he sought out additional help because he wanted to make the relationship work. And he wanted to get married to this chick. And that help started 10 years ago. Let me ask you guys a question. Isn't there supposed to be an end date on therapy, on couples therapy? Isn't there supposed to be some type of measurable results or end goal that you're looking for? Not that as a function of this relationship or this marriage being on point, you are required to have a mentor or a guide or a therapist forever involved with it in order to make it work. Now, I would argue in some cases, it may be good to have a third party opinion, especially if it's a
I mean, yes, there should be some measurable outcomes. Yes, there should be some change being seen, but it's also not true that they've been in consistent therapy for 10 years. But it does sound like Akaash has implemented those, but she hasn't. And what he's done is adjusted, just become more patient, and is waiting. However, in the meantime, if you don't assert your boundary and say, hey, this is not acceptable, the behavior will just perpetuate.
trained person take a look at the facets of your relationship to determine whether or not it's worth pursuing into the future. But that's not what happened here. What happened was decades of brainwashing to weaken this man, to downplay this
I'm
man.
going to skip.
I'll agree. Fix y'all trauma before these relationships. She's a grown-ass man that has time in the day. True. She can figure it out herself, but she won't because you don't hold her to that standard.
There we go. That's exactly what I just said. Exactly what I said. If you don't, you teach people how to treat you. That is a saying that Dr. Phil says now, whatever comments about Dr. Phil, but it's a really good saying. You teach people how to treat you. You accept behavior into your life, and you have, the right to assert what you will and you won't accept and what you will reject. If you don't do that, then you're just going to allow the behavior to continue.
Scorekeeping. I've always felt like I get taken advantage of because I try to be nice, blah, blah, blah. And that was my big fear.
Nice guy.
So I finally let go of that. It helped a lot. I said to her, look, I'm going to do all these things. I'm going to do the therapy. I'm going to do whatever. She wasn't in therapy at that point. I said, I'm not, before I would have made her, I'd have been like, I'm doing this and you're not. So I finally said, you know what? I'm just going to try to lead by example. And hopefully, if I grow enough, you will see the example and then you will also join me on this path. And that she heard way better than I'm doing this and you're not. And then she did. She's in therapy now, like more so than me, even more intensely than I am. And like, it's been really helpful.
Yeah. I mean, the downside is that we're not seeing the result of that. People go at their own pace. However, it's become so public now, putting him down in public. Everyone's a work in progress, of course. Yeah, let's go on.
This is the same therapy that she
for you. I'm doing it so you tell me I'm good enough.
With only
that's when you keep scores. Yeah. And she likes being pleased, like openly. My wife is the most self-aware. It's like amazing. She laughs at herself. She's incredibly self-aware. She's like, yeah, I'm high maintenance. It is what it is. Like,
that's not being self-aware. Just being audacious and being bold with being entitled and high maintenance is not self-aware. Self-aware individuals understand why they do what they do. They understand what facets of their personality work, what your addictions are, what you distract yourself with, right? What your skills and qualities are, and why you behave the way you do. That's self-awareness. Self-awareness is, I understand why I'm doing this, and I reel it in when it becomes unhealthy and damaging to other people. That is not what's going on here, in my perspective. Just being audacious and saying, yeah, I'm not going to apologize about saying that I want to have sex with my friend's husband in front of my husband. Being that audacious is not being self-aware. Right? I think actually it's the most unself-aware thing that you could possibly demonstrate, right? What I see is, like I said before, I see this as an assertion of dominance. I think I can say whatever I want to say, and I'll say it with my chest, as people say, and you're not going to say and do anything about it. And this is what manipulative people do. This is what abusive people do. I'm not saying that she's entirely abusive. I do think that she has manipulative tendencies. And if she's extorting her husband for money and for her own personal gain only, right, then it is abusive. But there's a dominance about her. And some people just like to assert their dominance because it makes them feel powerful. And the people that need to do that, to assert and crush other people, to feel some sort of power, are the individuals that feel the most weakest. It's individuals that actually are the most insecure. And all of this narrative that she portrays online, of having lots of material things, having lots of money, and just sitting at home and doing nothing, it's just a really meaningless life. Why is that something that you would want to live and promote? In order to gain your following online, which is what she's also self-admittedly doing. So this is more about her insecurities playing out in an overcompensatory way to assert dominance and to crush other people around her in order for her to feel uplifted temporarily, because it never lasts. Remember that always. If you have a bully, somebody who is walking over you, somebody who is just unapologetically being rude, it's a sign of deep insecurity. And, I hope for her sake and the people around her and Akaash's sake that she remedies that 100%. Yeah, and it's possible.
I don't know if you want me to, I'm not going to apologize, but yeah, that's where the scorekeeping comes in.
Because you feel like I'm doing this.
But I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it so you tell me I'm good enough. You know what I mean? That's a very different thing.
Right.
It's not a true good deed. So it's fine. That's okay. We all have that, whatever.
No, we don't.
My wife likes being pleased because it makes her feel validated. But don't pretend the score is so uneven that I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for me. And you're not making me feel validated even though I'm doing this. Yeah. It's not.
That's really sad. And yeah, that face is not one of total agreement.
I just need the validation.
Wait a minute. My man in the seat was like, wait, hold on now, dog.
Yeah, they don't agree with this for sure, because it sounds off, right? Even I, when I first heard this, I was thinking, whoa, because it's coming from a place of depletion. He's saying that because I need to feel validated, I'm giving to you so that you validate me, rather than giving love out of overflowing fulfillment. Like, I feel so much love because I'm all filled up with love and I'm giving you that. And whether you like it or not like it, or you're happy or content with it or not, I'm satisfied because I'm doing it because I am filled with love. What Akaash is describing is a place of depletion, that I'm giving you this because I want validation. I want to be validated with your happiness. And that is, again, another sign of unhealthy dynamics, right? Clearly, as he explained, they both have come from, what was the word that he used, but troubled homes. And many South Asian families have, especially that generation, first immigrants into Western countries, they have to struggle really hard. Mental health is such a taboo topic. You don't talk about your feelings. You don't explain, why you're doing what you're doing. You just do it, and your partner just accepts it, puts up with it. And there's a lot of conflict that's been had in South Asian homes. And so, yeah, many, second generations have had to struggle at home with their parents in this way. And therefore, this produces these deep insecurities and unhealthy role models that then we display in our relationships. So this is definitely a cultural phenomena. However, again, we have to hold our partners responsible and accountable for their own behavior and their own emotions. We are not here to remedy and, put some sort of soothing balm on. It won't last, right? And I really do ultimately wish them both well. And I may do some more clips, reactionary clips to some videos, because there are some other things that are being said that are, well, to be honest, questionable and, well, interesting to comment on from psychological point of view. So here we have it. I am going to stop here. Thank you so much. Do subscribe. So yeah, until next time. Bye.